shortly. Please stand by. Access to the Monte zone will be granted shortly. Please stand by.
It's Friday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the Monte Zone. Hey, we're back.
Yay! Whoa. You remembered the right show.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean? Did you think I was going to say TNG review like I normally do?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, well, I was saying it as I was watching the intro go by. In my head, I was going, Monte Zone, Monte Zone, Monte Zone. Not TNG review show. No.
It worked. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. It's like I'm growing.
After such a long break, I was not expecting that. So
Yeah.
well done.
It's been a while, hasn't it, G?
It has, yeah. I was just saying to you off air, wasn't I, that it just feels a bit. I mean, it feels good, but it feels strange. Funny enough, although obviously some people didn't bother watching it, but I did the trailer for this episode, and for that I obviously had to edit, and I was in my editing suite, and it's been so long since I've edited anything. I was kind of like, how do you do that again?
How do you do that?
I can't remember.
What's those buttons do?
And it's like I was having to reteach myself how to do stuff because it's been so long for me.
I have just realised we're in 10 forward and not our normal woods.
Oh,
so
yes.
I've got the branding all right.
You still got the TNG show in there somewhere.
Hang on a minute.
Absolute fail.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
I don't know why we always use the wooded background as well. I don't know.
I like it. I think it's dark and mysterious, and there could be anything lurking out there, Bigfoots or UFOs, or it's for that
True. They are found in the woods.
Yeah, a lot of our content is kind of woody based.
Yeah.
Woods kind of works.
That is a scary looking woods as well.
It's a scary looking woods. It's a scary looking woods.
Well, evening, everybody that's joined us in chat. Say hi and let us know that you've come along. And also, as usual, don't forget to do that like of the stream, say that one early, and get those likes in, Monty.
Yeah, yeah, get the likes in. Thank you. Hi to Stealth Andy. Hi to Mickey. Mickey and I are probably feeling quite tired this morning because we did a 5.5 hour marathon Star Citizen live stream till about 1:15 this morning. So, feeling, yeah, it was epic. Yes, it was epic. I crashed my ship multiple times. So, yes. Good evening to you, Mickey, and good evening to my TNG review co-star, Tavana and chat. Good evening to you all. And my wrench Smiler Rainbow. The boys are back in town, Smiler. Yes, the boys are back.
Yeah,
it's kind of our season 3. We've had the our mid end of season break, our winter break, and we're back for season 3. So
yeah, we just decided that just literally 2 seconds ago off air.
Yeah,
but it feels right to like call this season 3, because I think if we look back at season 2, it was probably about the same number of episodes as season 1, maybe. I think.
Yeah, we should have ended it on a montage of our
yeah, that's why I wanted to do the Christmas special, but it didn't go in our favor, did it? It didn't work out with dates and stuff. So that would have been ideal. But we'll do that this year, right? We'll keep the end of the seasons. We'll keep them within a year, right? So we'll do a finale in December.
Yeah.
Do a bit like a Christmas party and stuff. Just to mention before we get any further, if people are noticing me looking in different locations, I've got a completely different setup than what I usually use. So I'm not using a phone for a camera. So therefore, I've got YouTube on my other screen, on my other monitor. So I need to keep looking at it like that to look at chat. And then also I've got my keyboard over here. So yeah.
So if you turn away from us, you're not being rude. You're not. He's typing something. So yes. At the beginning of live chat there from the vault, you'll see a link to the live stream. If anybody wants to come into the studio and say hello to us this evening or chat to us about what we're talking about, feel free to use that link, and I'll let you in from backstage. Yes, good evening, team Rourke, I think it says, and Sean, my other TNG review co-host. Good evening to you, sir. What's that coming
Great
over
to
the
see
hill?
everyone.
It's a monster, yes. Yes. So this evening, G, we're talking about, we're back to Missing 411. It's been a while.
Yes. So we obviously it would sit, I think, in season 2 now. We did a missing episode previously, didn't we? We've only done the one. We kind of.
I think we've done one full episode about it. It's come up a couple of other times, I think, in relation to other UFO things. But yeah, we've done one.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everybody's had a chance to watch this documentary that we're going to be discussing tonight. But if you haven't, it doesn't really matter, because that's what we're here for. We're going to talk about some of the content in it, break down some of the cases that they discuss in it. And we've got lots of other stuff lined up for this evening as well, not just reviewing this documentary. But yeah, so
Real or fake? There's a small real or fake coming this evening for fans of the real or fake quiz. We have one of those this evening. Yeah,
it's a very short one, but it's new. We've never done it before on real or fake.
That's what she said.
It's gonna be real or fake headlines, newspaper headlines.
Yeah, it's not a TNG review show, but I do have my blood wine, so keeping the thing going.
And I have my usual plop.
Your usual Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Work in the morning, unfortunately. No weekends for me.
If anybody else has blood wine, or if you're drinking a coffee or a tea or whatever it is this evening, let us know. Let us know what you've got with the Monte Zone this evening. Great. Good evening to you, Kevin. Yes.
Yes, I was just about to say good evening, Kevin. Great to see you, and thank you for your message on the video. All the support in 2022, because in that video I gave a little bit of a shout out to everybody supporting the channel, because I think it was, now apologies if I get this figure wrong, but I think it was 34,500 views in 2022. 3,200 hours of watch time, and 295 new subscribers. So that's a pretty good 2022.
How many hours of viewing?
3,200 hours of viewing.
3,200.
Doesn't that like
blows my mind?
Yeah, that just blows my mind that people have sat there for 3,200 hours.
Yeah,
watching our content, which is fabulous. So thank you everybody for the support, and yeah, just to echo what I said in that video as well, I hope everybody had a great Christmas and is having a great 2023 so far, and we are just so happy to be back.
Yeah.
But I was saying about I got distracted talking about the missing. So in that episode that we did, we kind of almost sandwiched the two first documentaries together in one. So it was because for those of you that don't know the backstory, just to help out, the original, I think it came from a book by David Palaudis. And that was the Missing 411. And then there was a documentary for it. Then there was a documentary, Missing 411, The Hunted. And kind of both of the content of both of those, we kind of discussed in our episode, The Missing. Now, what's happened in October of last year, David Palaudis launched and aired the third documentary, which is called Missing 411, The UFO Connection. So, yeah.
So in his first book, Missing 411, to be a Missing 411 case, you have to have a missing person that meets a certain number of profile points. They all have similar characteristics of missing cases. So one of those things is canines can't get a scent trail, and trackers can't find a trace of anything to track. The victim's found in an area. If they are found, they're found in an area that's obvious and previously been searched many times. They tend to go missing near bodies of water. All those missing victims are clustered in particular geographic locations. And quite often, the weather turns during the time of the so it's it can be snows, or it suddenly becomes windy, or there's a deluge or something like that. So that's
yeah.
I
just wanted to add a couple of comments to that, because I think when you say one of the profile markers is lack of trackers being able to track it, a lot of people could just think, oh, okay, well, tracking's hard to do anyway. So, but actually, a lot of these guys are search and rescue, and they're actually really, really good at tracking. And a lot of the time, if they can't pick up a track, that's quite an odd experience. I'm trying to think of a comparison, but it's kind of like probably being a bricklayer and trying to make a wall without bricks. That sort of thing. It's very, very, it doesn't often happen if they can't find tracks. So just wanted to point that one out. And, just getting into a bit of the review straight away, Monte, because we haven't really talked about off air, like what you thought of the documentary or what I thought of the documentary. But just in that first bit, one of the things that I've noticed going back and looking at my notes from the first two documentaries is that he starts off, his usual thing of outlining the profile points and the markers that he uses to determine a case is missing 411. But in this one, he kind of almost trimmed some fat off of it, because actually in the earlier, there's actually more profile points that he talks about, but doesn't mention in this documentary. Which I don't know if that was just happenstance or intentional, but I just wanted to make a point of it. By the way,
I think it's because of brevity, really. I think at the beginning he went over the points in quite a lot of detail, because that's kind of was establishing the thing. Now I think he's kind of assuming we all know know it. So it was just kind of, you remember the points. It's these things. Now let's get on with the stories. You know, just to, I think for entertainment value, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted, I do have that picture ready with all the profile points on it. If you wanted me to share.
Yeah, you could do, yeah. Whilst you're showing that picture, Terry's got 1664 this evening. Sean, I think's making lemonade. No.
It's ready to share, Monty.
Okay, I will add it to the stream. There you go.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say is please be patient with me if I'm not as quick with the pictures as usual, because it's been a while.
It's been a while. We're rusty, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get rid of that stuff that's at the bottom of the screen.
Just click into the picture there. Probably will do it.
No, that's not helped.
No, that's not helped. What have you done? There you go.
There we go. Yeah, so this was obviously what we used back along when we did the other documentary. So I just dug it up and found it in my Vault archive. And yeah, point of separation, time of disappearance, bold. Yeah, all the things you've already mentioned. But there was more. So disability or illness, he didn't mention in this one. And found in an, that was on there.
Missing clothing, he didn't mention, but it's relevant.
It is relevant. Yep, definitely. Definitely comes up. So, yeah. So just thought I would share that just to remind everybody. But I was going to say to the guys in chat, let us know if you have seen the documentary. It'd be useful to know if you've seen it or not. But as I said, it doesn't matter if you haven't.
No. If you haven't seen it and you want to see it before we spoil any of the stories for you, then please feel free to watch us at a later date and go off and watch it, because there's probably going to be spoiler alerts in this. But
Sean says he hasn't seen it.
We're going to tell you all about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we got to the point of the documentary where it kind of starts with him outlining some of the background to himself. Now, I think that's something that I would like to talk about, if you don't mind, Monty, because when we did this the last time, I thought to myself, actually, we didn't talk about David Plowdy very much.
No.
So just to give everybody a backstory, because it sort of really started off from a book format originally, and that's, I think, what springboarded it into being filmed as a documentary. But who is David Plowdy? Well, he basically, I think it was about 20 years ago, he retired from the police force. Now, in the police force, he did a number of range of specialist roles. He was SWAT for some period of time. He was an investigator. And from what I recall from his comments, he retired from the police force about 20 years ago, or at least for 20 years, he's been researching cases of disappearance within the United States and some of Canada. And he's been investigating cases that meet those profile markers that we were discussing. And that's his specialist field of cases that he will choose to investigate and research. And so he's quite a credible source. And what I really like about David Plowdy, because if you go out into the world, the online world, and try and look into who he is, you'll see that he, certainly in the last few years, he's done interviews with people like George Knapp. And if people can't remember who George Knapp is, we've discussed him plenty of times, but he's heavily involved with Bob Lazar. He was the journalist that broke the Bob Lazar story. And now he's very big, George Knapp, in the world of social media and journalism and still. But anyway, so, and it's featured on the documentary as well. You get the audio of an interview that George Knapp does with David Plowdy. And, it starts off with George Knapp saying, I know you won't claim what this is because, in your opinion, you say that there's still not enough evidence to pinpoint exactly what is the cause behind all of these missing cases, because that is who David Palaudis is. He's not claiming anything. In fact, what he's saying is he wouldn't say that these missing cases are this phenomena or this phenomena or that phenomena, because he still says he hasn't got enough evidence, and he's searching for that evidence.
For balance, I will say that in chat, D. Richards, good evening, D. Thanks for coming along this evening. Points out that Palaudis was booted from I guess it's San Jose PD. So I don't. But apparently that was he had to step down to avoid a charge of fraudulent activity. Yeah, so I don't know how that affects his credibility, but yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it's something I didn't know, but thank you for sharing if that's the case. But, he does, to me, he comes across as somebody very credible. As I said, that, even after all of this content that he's investigated and the success that he's getting from this franchise of Missing 411, he's still like, there's not enough, evidence yet. We need to still keep searching.
It was San Jose, yes. He was part of SWAT team and street crimes unit. He was charged with a misdemeanor count of falsely soliciting for a charity. That's what his. That's what he was. Yeah.
Well, Dee's mentioned he denies it to this day that it never happened.
Right. There you go.
But, I guess if he's not being charged.
Yeah. So
interesting, though. Getting behind.
Yep.
Getting behind the backstory.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I thought it was better that we give a bit of an introduction to who he is before we get into the body of the cases.
Yeah, so in the episode first up, they go over the case of Ray Salmon from British Vancouver. He was an outdoors type guy. He used to go camping and hunting. I think he was 65, retired. He went camping north of Vancouver, up in the hills, and went missing.
Yeah, and it's a location where he was is a location that he's very used to being. Him and his wife have been going to this same area and around this area for decades, and she's interviewed a lot on the documentary. She mentions that she's a fair weather camper, which means that she doesn't like to join her husband in the winter and the colder months, hence why he was up there by himself. But they always go to this same location, and he went there with the other things that he had with him, along with his camper, was his 2 dogs, and he also took their little boat that they've got, which has got a sort of motor engine on the back of it. Obviously trailed that up with him to the location, and that was berthed at the side of the water.
As you know, any fans of the channel knows I'm a bit of a Google Earth fan, so all the stories today, I have got the locations prepared in Google Earth. So this is where Ray went camping in Westwood Bay. Just to give you some context of where we are here. Actually, I'll just swing us so north. This is Vancouver down here, so it's sort of, he was from like this area, whatever it is, Harrison Hot Springs, around that area. So they used to go north from there up to this bay here, and so this is where his campsite was. On this beach, and then he went missing from here, and then his clothes were found up the coast of the lake here, under a log on this beach here, in these trees. It was spotted by a search helicopter. And they also found his pistol. They found it at the top of the mountainside up here. So his pistol was found there, and his clothes were found down at that beach, and his camper van and boat were found on the beach at the campsite there. So that's the location of it all. So,
and just to remind everybody why that is so interesting, because remember those profile markers, and keenly remember the one that is about dogs can't pick up any scent and trackers can't find any tracks. In this case, it was both. So the dogs that the search and rescue had didn't pick up any scent, and also they had trackers from the search and rescue that couldn't find any tracks in the area. And then what's curious, if you then look at that map, is then his belongings are found in, quite a substantial distance from one another, meaning that either he or somebody else that was involved in his disappearance would have had to have traveled through areas that would have left, signs of disturbance or left tracks or scent of some kind behind. So that's why that's interesting to know. The other thing that's really interesting to know, and one of the things that I noted down, is when the first, I think it was search and rescue or police, when they first arrived and discovered Ray's camper van, it was locked or left. Was it locked or left open?
I think it was locked.
It was locked, but with his two dogs inside.
Yeah.
Who thankfully were fine. But, this is a guy that's chosen to take his two dogs up and out. His wife says in a VT is that whenever Ray would go away from the campsite, like go hunting, fishing, whatever, he would always take the two dogs. That's why they were there. So that's also another really interesting oddity about this disappearance as well.
Yeah. There's a whole number of weird things with it. Like the searching experts believe that possibly he suffered with what do you call it when people get really cold and go delirious? I don't know. But it was a warm...
Oh, you mean like when somebody's like dehydrated or something like that, and they get delusional?
No, it's like exposure, hypothermia. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
Like he was suffering with hypothermia and was delusional why he took his clothes off and put them on that beach. But there was no way of him having hypothermia because it was a pleasant summer evening. The weather there in the summer is pretty much like it is in England. It's like 20 odd degrees, just pleasant. They're convinced he drowned, but there's been searching of the lake and nothing's ever been found. No body's ever risen to the surface or anything.
Because straight away, the logical mind could go, well, maybe he took his clothes off to go for a swim in the lake and then has had an unfortunate accident, stroke, cramp, something like that, drowned. But then if that was simply the situation... Why is his pistol at the top of the mountain?
Yeah.
Why had he left his dogs in the camper? I mean,
The other interesting thing is the police that first arrived to help look for him were actually SWAT teams, armed SWAT teams, which is not normal.
Yes.
And this was all to do, there was a sort of secondary complication to this story in that there was some sort of frat party or stag do going on in somewhere up the valley in the woods, and they reported hearing shots fired during the night, and that's why a SWAT team was sent apparently, but they never saw him or heard anything else.
Yeah, there was something that happened with these teenagers where I think some of them claimed that they were in a vehicle
Mm,
and their vehicle lights got shot out
yeah.
by a gun, right? And then somebody else witnessed hearing 3 shots.
Mm,
So yeah, but that, as you know, what's really important to note there is that when they are then interviewing that lady who's part of the emergency response team group, and he's asking her, okay, given that sort of report, would that usually sanction the armed emergency response team being sent out? And she said, like, no, it would need a lot more than that, because the emergency response team, it's usually for things like terrorist threats and other
mm.
high level risk sort of thing. So that was, like you said, Monty, a really, really strange part of this case.
Yeah, but he's gone missing, and whether it had something to do with the teenagers, maybe there's more to the story. I guess we'll never know.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's the first one.
Yeah. So a couple of other things that are really, really poignant to point out about this one is that later on, as Monty mentioned, there was some sort of like frat party or something going on. The emergency response team or some of the senior officials that attended then told the rescue team to go to an area where this party had been going on and clear up the mess that was from there, that they'd left, things like bottles and, whatnot. And the guy that's being interviewed as part of the documentary sort of makes comment that, have you ever on a search and rescue case been asked in the middle of the rescue search to go and do a cleanup or a job elsewhere? And he was like, no, like, I don't know why we were asked to go and do that. But then there was where they found his clothes by the lake. They were apparently discovered by the emergency response team, but then they radioed to the rescue team and said to them that the area was too dangerous and too high risk for anybody else to come and venture into the area. And there was no real explanation. They show you in the documentary them go into this area where the clothes are found, and there's nothing special or unique about it. It's just the side of a lake and a bit of brush and stuff. But apparently the rescue team were told not to venture down there because it was too dangerous. So again, another really curious detail.
The wife says that the mounted police have never returned Ray's belongings, which is unusual, and freedom of information requests related to the missing person has come back heavily redacted for whatever reason. I'm not sure.
That?
That was one of the last things they said about it.
Oh, right.
But I'm not sure if that's, when, you've got information like that, a lot of it contains personal information. So the fact that he was like, all the documents around this case have come back heavily redacted and shown all this like black lines all over the documents. I mean, it might be redacted because it contains personal stuff, which they're not allowed to share. So
I
mean, you don't know why a document's redacted, do you? So,
well, Kevin's mentioned in chat, and keep giving us your comments, guys, and your thoughts about these cases. But he says it's like voices have taken control of these people. Potentially thinking that people are being sort of influenced or made to do things that they wouldn't usually do. I want to come back to that in a minute.
By
Kevin.
the production team.
Huh?
By the production team.
Yes. But I just wanted to concentrate on what Dee was mentioning in chat. Just because he mentioned that he is not what he makes himself out to be. The cases you will discuss have heavy skepticism and or criticism, not trying to hijack your review. Go on, Monte.
Well, I will say this, right? I mean, I quite enjoyed like the factual nature of like the first missing 411, but I did feel he tried to overly sensationalize some of these stories, and his acting when interviewing some of the people, like, oh wow, I never thought of that, and like it's like, oh, a bit cringe. It's just like, oh
Yeah, well, what was really interesting, I don't know if you noticed this as well, is that in the first two documentaries, he's not on in front of the camera very much.
no,
He mostly does narration, and there's a lot of other people that it's more that format. And so when I first started watching this, I was quite surprised to see him so heavily in front of the camera, and some of that camera footage was a bit odd, because he sat at a computer screen and he's looking like he's talking to someone above the computer screen, but there's nobody in the room, because then they're showing another angle where you can just see him sat at the computer by himself sideways. So you think, right, is he talking to somebody on the laptop? But then they're doing shots where he's looking over the top of the laptop, and he's talking into camera, and it just all was a bit strange to me. But I think that's because maybe he's not done a lot of work in front of the camera. He certainly hasn't on this sort of franchise so far. So that was a bit different about this one. But yeah, I don't think it played in his favor, because I don't think he's a natural in front of the camera, to be honest.
no, it came across as cheese.
Yeah, a little bit more cheesy. I would agree with you. Like, those shots where they kept going back to him, where he's kind of like in his like underground basement office with the laptop. I kept imagining Jonathan Frakes would get up behind him and go, and our next case is,
Yeah, yes, right. It's like
felt a little
Ripley,
bit
believe it or not, or whatever.
early 90s, early 90s, late 80s kind of UFO documentary. They're here among us.
Yeah, Skinner from X-Files or whatever,
Yeah. But however, what I wanted to get at in terms of Dee's comment is that, as much as everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I respect your opinion, Dee, but the issue is that what you're saying there has as much difficulty to prove that is right as what he is saying is right, because there's people like Bob Lazar or lots of other people that have been heavily scrutinized by other people. And I'm not saying that those people that have scrutinized it don't have entitlement or right to have their belief and their thought and their opinion on these people. But a lot of the time, you have to understand that. So, for example, just say, for example, he was guilty of doing a fraudulent act whilst he was in the police. Does that naturally, in the normal world of humanity, mean that what he's doing now is also corrupt? No, it doesn't.
No.
It means that he made mistakes in his youth, and now the two are not related things, in my opinion. So just because he might have done something untoward in his youth or in his younger years, does that mean that the guy's a whack job or trying to be insincere to us now? No, it doesn't, and there's nothing that you can say that proves that. So I just wanted to point out that everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it's equally as hard to say this man is a fake as it is to say that he's genuine.
Next
case. So the next case, to me, this is where, when I went back and watched this a second time, and I wasn't, because I'd been waiting for this documentary for a long time. I'd been waiting for it for about 5 months. I had heard that it was coming out, and I'd enjoyed the first two so much. I was really excited about this one. But so going back and watching it a second time, I then started looking at it and I'm thinking, this case 2 didn't really involve anybody going missing. And now he's talking about stuff that, yes, is UFO related.
An elk went missing.
Well, an elk went missing, but that's not his profile points. No.
it's the missing elk case.
Yeah, but there was no dot. He wasn't found. The elk wasn't found near boulders. Or,
let's go to the missing elk location. Here we go. Whee.
Good evening, Born Free. I don't know what Ruru means, but evening. thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for commenting.
Everybody that has joined, please don't forget to like the stream. We need the support. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We want to get to 1,000.
So here we are. We are east of Rainer in wherever this is, Washington State. So we're in southwest Washington State. And this is where the elk was abducted on the slopes of Mount St. Helens.
And, if everybody who's watching is also interested in the Sasquatch Bigfoot phenomenon, you'll know that, St. Helens is quite a hot spot for that kind of activity as well. One of the biggest sort of kind of incidents involving Sasquatch happened in and around Mount St. Helens after an eruption.
So in this, there was some Spanish workers who were working in the forestry logging business around here, and they witnessed a UFO coming down. I think it was like rectangular, wasn't it? And it had like blue, red and white stripes or something.
No, it had what looked like.
Or was it like pill shaped?
Pill shaped.
Pill
like
shaped,
white and red.
Yeah. It came down and it lifted an elk up. The elk didn't make a noise, didn't make a movement, and it carried it off and headed north over a ridge and disappeared. All the men were in their 30s. They were family men of Spanish descent, just honest forestry worker types. And a whole group of them all witnessed the same thing, apparently. Yeah. Not quite a missing 411 case, as G-Star says. It was a weird sideways.
As I said, the first time I'm watching it, I'm obviously just like that.
What?
And I'm like, okay, another case involving UFOs, cool, because I like UFOs. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And then it went on to the next case, and it wasn't until I watched it the second time I was like, hey, hold on a minute, that's not a missing 411. That's just something else. But I don't know if he's...
relate. It does relate
to
later. With the theme, yes. Yes.
Yeah. Just to mention, Sean said in chat, Shatner did some documentaries in that area too, where I was making the Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes.
And he certainly did. Yes, yeah, the same caliber, shall we say, of documentary on the subject as well. But you are bang on right there, Sean.
Yeah. They later did look for the elk, and they think they found it. It was a female elk that was pregnant, and they think it was suffering with an elk disease. So what he talked about in this documentary, and I don't know anything about this, but he compared it to mad cow disease in England, in the UK, when we had mad cow disease in the 1990s, was it? That was a big thing. Well, they have it's like a mad elk disease, really. It's a chronic wasting disease in their elk population, and it's threatening to become a thing. But yes. He just mentions it as something that they have. So, I'm mentioning it too. What it's got to do with missing 411, but there you go.
There you go. Who knows? Right, then it leads on to, I think case number 3 was Ray Jones, right? Is that what you've got on your notes?
Yeah, is he the one that saw the triangle UFO?
Yes, and he wasn't found, but then was. It happened in 1959.
Yeah, and I think that was over.
What?
Well, I don't. It wasn't actually in Chalice. This is the town of Chalice. Don't know, but it was probably up in the hills here. They went up into the hills here. I don't exactly know where, but it was a group of friends. They were out hunting elk and camping when one of them saw UFO.
Yes.
Is that the one?
I don't know. This guy disappeared.
Oh no, this guy didn't disappear. I didn't write down the name of that guy. Oh, but you tell me yours then. You tell me the one you've got.
It's Ray Jones, and it happened in 1959. He went missing, and they did a whole big search for him, and 50 years later, his remains were found at the bottom of a boulder field in the same area that had been searched, way back when.
Yeah.
So this is like now remains being found 50 years later. But
that was at Raymond Jones. That was up in this valley here. I did have that one.
Still quite close proximity to where you just were then, actually.
Yeah, there was this one. There was Dior Kuntz.
I don't think you pronounced that exactly right.
Dior Kuntz. Is that not right? Is that not right? Is it Coons? Coons?
Coons or something, yeah. Coons.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Dior Coons.
Oh.
It's fine. But that case was from the original book and Missing 411, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the child.
Yeah.
But some of these, obviously, it's indicating have a real close proximity to where these disappearances happen.
Yes. So that was a child that went missing up there. Is Ray Jones. He went missing and was found in a boulder field that they searched many times over. And here in Chalice, just outside of Chalice, I think it might have been in the hills here, a group of friends were staying they went camping, hunting for elk, and they stepped out of there. One of the guys needed a waz because he'd had some beers and it was late at night. He stepped out of the camper into the woods to do his business, and a triangular shaped UFO came over and hovered over him. And it was only the fact that another one of his mates came out of the camper to see if he was all right, that when his mate come up and turned up, the UFO flew away. But all three of them saw the UFO and said it was triangular shaped with, I think it was white circular lights on each end of the points and a red circle in the middle.
And it was the size of a football field.
Yes, it was big. But so that was, again, near Ray Jones and Dior Kuntz. Coons.
Just to point out, Kevin said all national parks, mysterious places, but it's not indicative of just the United States. But I wanted to use this opportunity to mention that I talk a lot when I'm covering and discussing and investigating the Bigfoot phenomenon. You talk about these area of wilderness that makes this whole thing like a needle in a haystack. Even if you thought, in the case of Raymond Jones, that it's just a logical explanation.
Sorry, ignore me.
He went missing, and unfortunately died, and it just so happens that they found his remains 50 years later. If that's what you're thinking of this case is, then even still, it's like this area was searched by search and rescue. It may have been 50 years ago, but apparently in this case, like a load of townspeople and villagers got involved in the search as well. And just gives you an extent or an idea of the level of wilderness in these areas, because that body has been there potentially for 50 years, if that's what you're thinking, and nobody's come across it, even though they were looking for it. So that's, I think whatever you think about the Raymond Jones case, either way, it still says a lot to lean towards just how difficult it is to put your head around how big these areas are and difficult to navigate. Wilderness.
Kunst means art, apparently. Derives from art in German.
Is that from our Irish Cyclopedia?
From artist, Kunstler. From Sean. Thank you, Sean. Yes. Yeah, so after these three, I think we go on to Reinhard Kirchner?
Reinhard Kirchner
Reinhard?
From Germany.
Reinhard
Kircher. He was... I can't recall whether they were saying that he was just a tourist or whether he was originally from Germany and had emigrated to America.
Yeah, I think he emigrated. Yeah, he emigrated and he lived nearby. And once again, he was, He's just he's originally German.
So he went missing in Arizona.
Yeah, and Arizona, Colorado River Gorge, right down here, around Dry Canyon. Yeah. The police reports, in the police report, there was reported that there was lights in the sky. Was reported from local ranchers, and they all local ranchers believed he was taken by UFOs. His pickup truck was found, I think, there's like a road here. His pickup truck was found around here. And, he went missing somewhere in this gorge.
Obviously, because it's quite a popular area, I think on this one, there was quite a lot of witnesses that reported seeing strange lights in the area at the time of his disappearance.
Yeah, local ranchers,
Yeah.
Again, it was by water because it's in the gorge. Don't think they found his clothes.
No.
But they did find his vehicle.
Where was his vehicle found? Have you got that on Google Maps?
Yeah,
Sorry.
You weren't listening, were you? You weren't listening to me as I was saying that, local ranchers reported lights in the sky and his vehicle was found around here at the end of this road. But, yeah.
Cool. So did you talk about the ranchers that saw the lights? Yeah.
I'm going to change your name to Kunz. Yeah. That's all I got on that one, really. There wasn't much to...
Yeah, I know that one was really quite interesting, but I can't remember a great deal about that one.
I don't know if he was hunting elk.
But again, I think this was just a big lead up. This was another example of him using the case that then led up to the next one, and set the tone for the next one. But
Carl Higdon?
Carl Higdon. This is actually quite a big one. In the documentary, just before they start talking about it, David basically says on his narration that this is one of the strangest cases he's ever investigated. But actually, this isn't unique to him, because if you Google the Carl Higdon incident, you'll get quite a bit of information coming up, because it's quite a well-known incident, long before Missing 411 came into play. It happened in 1974, and this is really, really interesting case because Carl claims to have been abducted and been on board a craft. It all happened in Medicine Bow National Forest in Wyoming.
This is here.
Yeah.
So this is Medicine Bow, this big this all this wooded area here is Medicine Bow National Forest, and Carl disappeared in the north part of this section here.
So I can't remember exactly how the abduction happened. This is the one with this is the one where he fired at the elk, right?
Yep. So he entered the woods from the north. He hadn't gone too far into the woods when he came across some elk, but they were not moving. It was a whole herd of elk, and he was just stood there, and they were stood completely still, like didn't even look like they were breathing. They were just completely still. So he fired his gun at them, but the bullet hit an invisible wall. It just stopped in midair and dropped to the floor. And he picked it up and he kept the bullet, and he's shown it on camera. It looked like a squished bullet.
Yeah, it has been analysed, this bullet, and compared against other bullets that have hit like a hard something, and just the way that the head of the bullet splattered out does suggest that, this bullet did hit something hard.
Yeah. And so it was like a glass wall in front of him. It turned out he realized that it was like a glass cube. There was like a glass cube hovering in front. And he said a life form came out of the cube. And I think it gave him a pill. Didn't it?
Yes.
It gave him a pill. And it said, not with his lips, but with his mind for him to take the pill. So, it was a Matrix moment for this guy. It's like to take the pill or not take the pill. He took the pill.
And he certainly went down the rabbit hole.
And he ended up inside the cube. That was like the TARDIS because it was bigger on the inside than it was on the outside. And there was elk in there.
Yeah, it was basically in a large circular area, and the elk were in the middle. His description of the alien, which again is very interesting because it's not very conventional description of an alien. This is a full abductee encounter claim and case, and he gives you a description, and you see pictures of what an artist's impression of his description made it, and it's kind of like a scarecrowy looking thing with braided little bits of hair, not your typical either gray that you get in a lot of abductee or sighting reports, not your typical lizard or large gray, but yeah, very strange looking scarecrow, kind of almost looking alien.
Yeah. John says, a man says, you see that flock of elk? The other guy says, herd of elk. And I says, of course I've heard of elk. Look, there's a big flock of them. He gets one of these. Yes. That's for you, Sean. That's for you. Yeah.
Kevin said, I've heard that also people see other people but dressed from a different time, or Indians, like they're briefly seen into another dimension, then they're gone.
Yeah.
Very true, Kevin. Yes, that is in not necessarily connected to Missing 411, but yeah, definitely, certainly something that's been recorded within phenomena like this.
I think he claimed to have been taken away to be breeding stock or something, but it turned out he had a vasectomy. He had the snip, so they couldn't do anything with him, so they dropped him back into the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And he returned.
Now what is really interesting, because we mentioned that there was some physical evidence in Carl Higdon's case with the bullet. But one other interesting thing that happened is that after this incident, Carl was given an X-ray of his lungs, and he previously had some scarring of his lungs due to was it a case of pneumonia that he got when he was younger or something, and he had quite a lot of scarring.
Yeah,
on
yes, pneumonia. Yes, he had like scarring on his lungs.
And when they took an X-ray of his lungs after this incident, they were all clear again. And in the documentary, they show you the picture of the X-ray. So, two pieces of quite strong-ish. I mean, the bullet one for me is something that could easily be doctored. Just a bullet fired at a wall and then retrieved, and then it goes along with the story, right? But this X-ray and him having sort of like clear lungs is a very interesting fact, but I'd have to look into that more. So I think what I'm going to do on this one is I might do a story time and just go into the story a little bit more heavily. But what's interesting as well is Carl Higdon is still alive, and they were interviewing him, right?
Yeah.
And man, did the man look sick.
Well, he's very old.
Literally. Yeah, I mean,
he's very, very old.
But, he looked like, it sounds horrible to say, but he looked like one of the zombies out of World War Z.
Yeah, it's like if mummies could talk.
Yes. He had very strange looking eyes.
Poor
but
chap.
Yeah, felt for him. But interesting that, and again, I'm listening to him talk, and for a man of his age, there was it oozed genuineness to me. It didn't seem something that was very, let's say, practiced, and it was just, there was nothing showcasey about what he was saying, which I kind of really like. But as I say, I'm gonna have to look into this case in a little bit more detail. But it's definitely sparked my interest.
Yeah, apparently, Kevin, no, alien technology can't reverse the snip. Sad to say, no, not apparently not possible. So, yeah, that avenue is now not open to us. So, yeah. Next,
was it? On your notes, is it Mark Strickman?
It is Mark Strickmater.
Mater?
Yeah, Mark Strickmater, wasn't it?
It's not important. Is it? I guess it is. Get the name of the guy right.
Is it important? Yeah.
Mark Stripper. Mark Strickman. Mark Strickmaker.
Oh, God. Hang on. Let me just check. Strittmater, yeah, Matter.
Okay.
Yeah, Strittmater. It's a lot of T's. Strittmater. Yeah, Mark Strittmater, reported missing in heavy snowfall again in the same area. I'll bring that up so you can see.
Sean says, "Why does everyone have German names tonight?"
Well, funnily enough, that is one of the common threads. They're all German elk hunters for whatever reason. That is a thing. Mark Strittmater. He went missing. We've talked about Carl Higdon there. He went missing over here. Yes. And he disappeared in 2019 whilst hunting elk.
Really recent.
And he claimed to have seen a UFO before he disappeared, according to his wife and friends. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously that was quite a few years apart from the actual disappearance.
Yeah, it was like 15 years ago or something. But so yes, Sean, they're all Jägermeisters. Jägermeisters, G? Do you know what that means in German?
That's beer, isn't it?
Master Hunter. That's Master Hunter. I wish I'd know that, but it was because I read Sean's comment from earlier. So.
I've just noticed Maz is on board. Evening, Maz.
Oh, good evening, Maz. Yes. Yes, Maz, you've heard the bell tolling now. So, yes, you can't normally hear it on the other end of StreamYard, but she's heard it now. She knows what it is.
I didn't get to hear it. I didn't know he was doing that. I noticed that there was a really weird pause and silence, and then I thought, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin says, the moral of the story here is don't hunt elk.
Don't hunt elk. No. Although the UFOs appear to hunt elk as well, so maybe they're in competition. That's why they're getting rid of their human competition, because they want to whisk the elk away themselves. It's a delicacy to UFO to aliens, I think. Elk.
Yeah. So in the documentary, he interviews Mark Stripmaker's wife,
Mater, yeah.
Mater, whatever. That sounds really. I've just realised we're talking about somebody who's disappeared.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Strick Mater.
Straight.
Yeah, they're speaking to his wife for quite a substantial amount of time, interviewing her, getting the backstory of who Mark Mater was. He was, I think, at a point he was ex-military.
Yes.
Yeah, so he knew his way around survival, etc. Very, very at home in the wilderness, and doing what he was doing. And so she paints the picture quite well. And eventually they really then, because like you mentioned, Monte, this happened in 2019, so it's still really recent, still really raw. They then get to the point where she gets really emotional because even in cases like this, there's a lot of people like the local police force and whatever who are continuing to investigate it, but from a purely normal basis of just looking for a missing person. And they're talking about all this strange stuff, but I think it was a bit sad to see how she was getting emotional, because they were talking about the children involved, etc.
Yeah, unfortunately his remains were found in October of last year, just literally like 2.5 months ago. And on the 16th of October, his remains found. And once again, they were found in the middle of the search area that they'd been searching this whole time. So, yeah, sad for that family. Next.
So I think that's the last one that I've got noted.
Well, after that, we go to Charles Gustafsson. Gustafsson, another German. Guess what he was doing?
Elk hunting.
He was elk hunting. Yes, he was elk hunting. Again, in the same woods. I know it's further away from the last two, but actually, this whole area is called I don't know, I've forgotten what it's called, but it's the same. Medicine Bow. That's it. Medicine Bow National Forest. He was camping just off of Road 101 here, between 101 and 195, around here. He went missing. He was camping with his family, went off to hunt some elk, and disappeared. He disappeared. He was 72 years old. He disappeared in 2006. He had food, water, survival training. He was also, like the last guy, ex-military, had a wealth of experience. And they sent out helicopters from Warren Air Force Base and search teams, and they didn't find anything. Eventually, a couple of years later, they found his shotgun in Rock Gorge Canyon. So there's a canyon that runs along here. They found his shotgun up the canyon path, up around here. But as far as I know, nothing was ever found. They, again, like a lot of the others, although his shotgun and things were found, the dogs didn't find any trails, and there's been no sign of him. Yeah, so that was quite interesting that we've got Charles there, we've got Carl Higdon, and we've got Mark Strittmater, all in Medicine Bow. And as I mentioned a minute ago, they did send, the search teams came from Warren Air Force Base over in Cheyenne here, which is just to the east of that whole national park. And this is quite interesting because Warren Air Force Base, has had a lot of
Yep.
UFO information come out of it from people serving at Warren Air Force Base. They've had a lot of serving Air Forcemen report UFO sightings from Warren Air Force Base.
Yep. It's very popular in Blue Book as well in terms of around that time scale. A lot of things happened around Warren Air Force Base as well, and I think, if my memory serves me correct, they feature it in X-Files as well.
It made me think as well, because this is like the town of Cheyenne. This is like the whole area of Cheyenne. Of course, down the bottom here somewhere, I know it's quite a way away, but you do have Cheyenne Mountain. I've forgotten where it was. Somewhere down here.
Well, in chat, Sean said, if given the choice between finding remains and never knowing, I know I would want the remains. And then he mentioned, as you've been pointing it out on the map, that it's a bit of an elk triangle.
Yeah.
And then Andy said, I find it hard to think that they look in an area about 4 miles and then sometime later they find a body. Yeah, again, that is, when you're talking about things like search and rescue and trackers, etc., like that, these are highly trained people and they do it in such a methodical way. It's not just people going out, going, hey, there. It is, it involves air surveillance, now drone surveillance, people on the ground. It's all methodically mapped out how they clear away segments and areas. So for something to turn up where they've previously searched, and in some cases, they've searched that area 2 or 3 times as well, not just once. They've done it 2 or 3 times, and then at a later date, the body or some sort of object or piece of clothing or gun turns up in these areas that have already been searched. So very, very curious. But as we've been going through this review, I just can't help but thinking that this documentary should have been called Missing 411, the elk connection.
The elk conspiracy.
However, I just don't think as many people would have come flocking to watch it.
What? The elk? What?
The elk connection?
Yeah.
But, the UFO connection sounds definitely a lot stronger.
Yeah. The last missing guy he talked about was Terry Meador, which is just to the west of the others. Again, in the same area. He set off from... Rock Springs, headed south from Rock Springs. Again, guess what he was doing? He was heading towards this forest down here to do some elk hunting.
I think he was elk hunting.
Yeah. And he was never found. His car was found in a ditch near where that pin is there, in the middle of what is it? Ostensibly a desert. There's just not a lot around here for miles. So it's very difficult to survive. Nothing really much survives out here. It's like, it's highland. It's just barren. And yeah, it's weird because if people go missing around this area, because there's no large animals, there's no... generally the bodies are found, because there's nothing to drag them away or anything. But yes, his car was found in a ditch. He disappeared whilst elk hunting in 2018. Once again, with the search parties and things, no trace, no trail, no scent, nothing was ever found of Terry Meador. But again, roughly in the same sort of area. The only last thing he mentions, which is a part of this wider conspiracy, this whole thing's about, he mentions Pat McGuire. So Pat McGuire built a well in between Warren Air Force Base and where Charles and the rest of them disappeared, north of Laramie, was a farmer called Pat McGuire. He was apparently abducted by aliens. This was some time ago. I think it's in like the 60s or 70s. He was abducted by aliens, and they were very specific. They told him to dig a well in this location north of Laramie. Dig a well in this, what is like where the last guy, Terry, went missing. It's kind of highland desert type. It's like 7,000 meters above sea level, and it's, barren. Dig a well, and he will strike water. And he will be able to plant barley fields. So Pat McGuire got to work digging a well, and lo and behold, all the local farmers thought he was mad. Everyone in the town of Laramie, where he bought all his, he got the contractors in, and they all thought he was absolutely crazy. And at 350 feet down, he struck water. And not just a little bit of water, lots of water. And with that water, he did indeed plant barley fields and sold his barley to Israel for food. So,
Wow.
Eventually, it turned out that this was too high to actually grow barley successfully, and the whole thing went bankrupt. But for a while, he did good things. Pat McGuire and his well. But the reason
his well didn't go well.
His well didn't go well in the end, but for a while, it turns out he hit water because it's found out that there's an aquifer where people go missing all around this national forest and in the Rockies and this whole area. Nobody goes missing through the middle of the United States. And to be honest, not a lot of people live there or go there either. It's kind of like this big empty area in the middle of the United States, but there is a massive aquifer under here, right under where Pat dug as well. It's got a name, like a lake. I've forgotten what it's called, but there is a massive aquifer. And he kind of, there's been a lot of talk about UFOs possibly coming from the water and being related to water, maybe living in water. And maybe there's been a lot of UFO activity and elk abductions from here over Warren Air Force Base, because maybe they're living in the aquifer below central United States. So that's where this was all going to in the documentary.
Can I just show you something that connects with what you're just talking about?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to show you this picture. Hold on. This is from, for those of you that have watched the Bigfoot mapping episodes that I've done on BFSI channel. It's ready to share, Monte. This is a map that outlines like all of the Bigfoot sightings since I think this is since 2018. But it doesn't matter whether you look at it from like the beginning of records or whether you look at it, there's always this real high density on both but in the middle. And it's just really weird that you mentioned what you were just mentioning, because on one of the episodes, I talk about how there just doesn't seem to be any activity going down the middle states of the United States, whereas actually, because they're really desolate, barren, very low populated states, that's where I would expect more stuff to be seen. But I just thought I'd share that because I think it's interesting that you're talking about other phenomena, and in another phenomena, it's the same situation as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a look at, I don't know if we've got, can I get that up? Population density by county. If you look at what you were just looking at, and then this. So this is population by density per county between 1990 and 2020. But that population density looks almost the same distribution as your Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah, But that
'Cause that's
logically
where-
would make sense, right? Because
If
that's
there's no
where
one
people
there,
are
they're
that-
not going to see anything.
Yeah, exactly.
If a tree falls in the wood and there's no one around to hear it, did it really fall? You know, who knows? There's no one there to hear it. But but this is like I'm saying, where this aquifer is, if you imagine this green blob in the middle is an underground aquifer, that's where it is. And nobody lives there. It's just nobody lives in the middle of the United States.
Andy Stealth has said, I've come in later. What do you think about the use and lights in the woods, then a Bigfoot or something large human type? What do you think about this way of thinking? Do you think there's link?
I don't think I understand the question.
Yeah, if you could break that down.
Yeah, if you could, reword that, break it down.
I think what he's asking is that, you know, a lot of people have made the connection between UFO sightings and, you know, Bigfoot phenomena. There's a lot of what's the word that I want to use? There's a lot of discussion in the last sort of 5 years that there's similar in most cases, a little bit like David Ploughys is doing with this missing 411, where he's got these profile markers. Within a lot of these cases, there's profile markers of people that see a Bigfoot, but also see an orb of light or some sort of light phenomena. So I think maybe that's what he's thinking about, because it's an interesting point, because we haven't discussed this thus far. But when you watched the Missing and the Missing 411 and the Missing 411, the Hunted Monte, did you think that David Ploughys would go with it into the direction of the UFO connection, or did you think he would go into the Sasquatch connection? Or
Yeah, I thought more that route. I really didn't see the UFO angle coming.
Yeah,
and
me too.
That kind of leads on to what was your overall impression of this latest missing 411 outing? What did you feel by the end of it?
Look, I mean, you know, a bit like a TNG episode, you know, giving it
a scoring out of 10. Yeah, you got your paddle there?
Yeah, I've got my paddle properly. Hold on a minute. No.
I'll give it a score as well. But anybody else, if you've seen it, please feel free to put a score out of 10 in there.
No, I can't find my paddle. I'm really sorry.
Oh, that's disappointing, G.
Well, you know, it's been a long time, and things moved around a lot. And this place is a bit of a mess at the moment, I'm going to be honest. You can still hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't find it, buddy. I'm sorry.
No worries. Well, I've got my score, so I can't change it because it's on my panel. So you ready? You can say your score, and I'll hold up mine. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
7.
All right. I gave it a 5.
Yeah. Okay. I think, but both of us fair score. I'll tell you why mine's a 7, and probably the additional 2 points come into play. It's because obviously it makes a connection into an area or a phenomena that I'm interested in anyway. So seeing, and you know, there's 2 cases that come up in this documentary that I would like to explore more. So I guess in that way, it's provided me, like, you know, when I'm watching these things, I'm always looking for ideas or like potential content. And the first case of Ray Salmon, and then also definitely the Carl Higdon case, I would definitely like to, you know, look into more detail on these, and then you know, deliver that in some sort of format, that whether it be a vault or a story time. And
I think that was it. That was it for me. Is those were the 2 most. They're the 2 most interesting cases that had the most information, and I think some of the other cases that he was using to link the film together seemed a little tenuous, or
I felt like everything else was kind of padding to lead up to these cases. So it sort of set the tone. But it didn't feel like that was a good thing to do because it just felt like it was padding.
Yeah.
The other thing is you mentioned something quite early on in the show where you said something about it was when we were discussing that he was more in front of the camera.
Yeah, I was thinking he was a bit cheesy.
Yeah, but my issue is that with a lot of these cases, and especially more so talking about them tonight and going through them, is that I wanted to know a little bit more detail about the actual real the local forces like investigation, or because I found in the other documentaries they did a little bit more of that, like they would interview people that were part of the local police force. And
Yeah, you'd have maybe some real footage or some reconstructions, and you'd get an understanding of what these places were like and what they were doing. And it was a little bit more on the ground and detailed, where this was just more like it was about as detailed as we just gone over it, to be honest, in the last hour. You know, it's just like, yeah, this guy was there, he disappeared in this date, and
there's a lot of like cheesy, cheap looking animations used as well.
Yeah.
For the revenue that he's probably accumulated from the first two outings in the Missing 411, you would have thought that it would have been a much higher standard.
I love the concept, though. I mean, bringing UFOs into it, we love, talking about UFOs. So,
he may still be onto something, like these are, but I definitely I definitely felt with the first two documentaries, say if you were talking about a case like of Bill Oddie, right? That's not too a random word because that's actually a person, but say
he's a bird watcher. He was in the Goodies.
Yeah, I know. I've met him.
You've met Bill Oddie?
Yeah, in London. He walked past me and I said hi, and he said hi, and yeah, he was really small.
What a story! What a story! You walked past
hi.
Bill Oddie and said hi.
He walked past me. I was leaning on a wall. He walked past me, and I went, "Oh my God, it's Bill Oddie." And he went, "Yes, I am." And I went, "Hi." And he went, "Hello," and then walked on. And that was, and he's my friend now.
Yeah.
But let's say Peter Jenkins, right? So the case of Peter Jenkins.
You know who Peter Jenkins is? No, I'm just joking.
Peter Jenkins disappears, right?
Right.
Nobody knows where he's gone. I want to hear about what the police did and what the police reports found out. And then if those police reports don't find anything tangible or anything explainable, then I want to hear about all the stuff that's in the Missing 411 kind of concept sort of thing. And I felt with the first two documentaries, that's what was delivered. But I felt with this one, it was just all about straight away, this guy's seen a UFO, this guy was abducted by a UFO, this guy was never found. And so for me, I still think it's good because it obviously covers content that I'm interested in, and I've now watched it twice, but not the best out of the three.
What was that ex-FBI special agent he talked to as well? Who's that guy?
Oh, God. Yeah, that looked like he was somebody off of Sesame Street or something,
I don't know. He just gave me bullshit vibes. I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't come across well on camera again. But again, it was the angle. Like, I would never choose to film an interview at that angle, showing his legs underneath a desk.
His desk looked like, a dressing table that you've just picked out from a bedroom or something, and just quickly shoved some books on it and put like an FBI poster behind him just to make him look kind of FBI like. It just looked, there was an Apple Mac on the corner of the desk not plugged in, just to you could have a laptop that makes you look like you're doing something.
Look, my main message to everybody and why I scored it as 7 is I wouldn't want to put anybody off watching it who hasn't watched it. I still think it's it's a worthwhile watch.
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
It wasn't what I was expecting, and I wasn't even expecting him to then come out with a Missing 411, the UFO Connection. Where The Hunted ended, I expected a Missing 411, the Bigfoot Connection. Just because of the case that he ended the second documentary on, definitely felt like he was also almost then trying to give out a message of, actually, I think maybe a lot of these cases are connected to this phenomenon. And so, but I heard about it back in, as I say, probably about June of 2022, and it was released in October of 2022. So I was really then excited. I'd been waiting a long time and really, really wanted to watch it. And I wouldn't have brought it to the Monte Zone for us to discuss if I didn't think it had some sort of value. But yeah, I hope people do still watch it, but it's not as good as the other two.
No. Should we play real or fake?
Oh yes, let's
real
play
or fake,
real or
real or
fake.
fake, boom boom, real or fake,
Okay.
real or fake, dun dun.
The game made to something your mind.
Yeah,
Play your mind.
the game made to trigger me into rage.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's start off by reminding everybody what this real or fake is going to be about. And it is going to be about news headlines. And when I say news headlines, I mean in newspapers and not on TV stations, not on, news programs, but just headlines on a newspaper. And what you've got to do is tell me simply whether you think the headline is real and was a headline in the newspaper, or whether it's fake and I've made it up. And
Oh God!
here we go. Here's the first one. Ready to share, Monty. So, first headline: Sources Ray struck logger, workers say. Sources Ray struck logger, workers say. Let us know in chat. You've got to be quick because we can't hang around waiting for everybody to put real or fake. And if you want to give a description of why you think it's real or fake, let us know in chat. But get straight in there with it.
We can see all the options down the bottom.
Oh. I don't know why it keeps doing that.
I don't know.
Hold on a minute.
What have you done?
I'm going to open the picture from a different...
I mean, that could be real. I mean, that, there was headlines with loggers saw elk, UFO take elk away. So there's no reason why that wouldn't be a real... what do people think? What do you think in chat? Do you think that's a real headline?
Yeah, hold on. I've got it ready to share again.
Sean says fake. Mazima Bob says real.
If you don't, and also if you're saying fake or real, if you've got any thoughts behind why is fake or real, let us know. That'd be awesome. So how many have we got there? We've got Mazda's real.
Mazda's gone real.
Sean's coming fake. We've
Sean's
got
gone fake.
9 people.
Smiler's gone fake.
What are you saying, Monty? I think everybody's waiting to hear what the Monty says.
The Monte says fake.
Fake.
Yeah, I'm saying fake. I'm only saying fake because I'm pretty sure if it was an actual... Stealthy Andy says real. Mickey says real. So yeah, it's a split decision. This is split everyone down the middle.
Yeah.
I just think if there's a UFO story, right, they're going to put something like UFO, like UFO's Ray struck logger. I don't think they're going to say saucers, just because that's saucers, not like a grabbing headline,
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm just taking down everybody's name.
Oh, you're keeping scores, are you? You're keeping scores.
Going to try to.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna say fake. Mazma Bob says real. Sean says fake. Smiler says fake. Stealthy Andy says real. He says real. Mickey reckons depending on the time frame. Team Rourke says real. Yeah. Could have been way back in the day when they used the term saucer. Yeah, it could be. Could be a stripper named Saucer. Saucer's Ray. Saucer's Ray. Yeah, struck logger. Maybe it was someone called Saucer's Ray. Yeah, they just punched a logger in the face. Who knows?
Okay. Right, so I'm going to stop sharing that a minute. And then let's... sorry, it's a slower process because I've now got to open it with a different app. And then let's share this one then.
You're not giving us the answer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're on the answer.
Ready to share.
Oh, God, it was real.
Yep. So Stealth Andy basically said Travis was taken. You're correct, he was. But before he was taken, he was hit by a ray.
Travis Walton.
Floor. Yes, this is Travis Walton. So this was a local newspaper, the Globe and Mail, and the headline was "Sources Ray struck logger." Sorry, my Smiler did point out the grammar. She was 100% correct, and I didn't do that in my copy of the.
That was another reason I thought it was fake. So
yeah,
technically, I am right because you missed off the comma.
No, I'm not giving anybody any points because of a dark comment.
Right. Well, you didn't have a comma in it, so it was fake.
Well, how can you prove that? The picture's not up anymore. How can you prove that? Right,
also, how am I supposed to know? That piece of paper was from November the 10th, 1975. I was 1 month old.
Yeah, but you should know ufology, and you would know that loggers were part of the Travis Walton case. Anyway, so 50 Monte Zone points go to Mickey. Well done. Maz, well done. And Team Rock.
Team Rock. Well done, everyone.
Yes, right. So, number 2. Let's get on to headline number 2.
He's working on it, people. He's working on it.
Ready to share. Slowed down now by the fact that I've got to change.
Did aliens bring the coronavirus?
Yeah, did aliens bring the coronavirus? Is this a real headline or a fake headline? Andy, I believe. Oh yes, no, Andy got 50 points.
Yeah, Andy got 50. Yep, well done.
I have now. Thank you so much. Sure. It was Smiler. Thank you. That's why you're a moderator. Oh, the question marks appeared back in Maz's Arsenal. Real question mark.
Question mark.
Not fully decided. Not committed. She's laughing as well. She knew that I was going to say that. Yeah. Sean's gone. It's real. Mickey's gone true. They never wash. And Maz has gone real as well. And Stealth Andy's gone fake. What are you saying, Monty?
I'm going fake because...
Why?
Well, I just don't think... I haven't heard any people talking about coronavirus being alien. I haven't heard that. I don't know. And also, I just think you did true last time, so you do fake on the second one. I'm trying to get into your psychology, G.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to be you.
Fail. I think we've got everybody's answers in because Smiler's gone fake as well. Right. So let me just line up the answer for this one a minute.
Oh no.
And
Oh no. He's lining up a picture of a newspaper, isn't he?
I'm not actually. That one came from the newspaper of G Star Gazette.
Ah, I'm in your head. I'm in your head.
You're in my head. Well done. So, get in.
We can't call the Chinese aliens. No, it's
Monte
the
got 50 there. Smiler got 50.
it's the unknown virus of unspecified origin.
Andy's now on 100. Who else went fake? Team went fake as well, so it's on 100. And who else? Sean. What did Sean go? It's real. So Sean's yet to get off the scoreboard.
Oh man!
Plenty of time to catch
Sean.
up. And have I done Maz? Maz went real, didn't she?
Yeah. Question mark? She said real question mark?
No points there. And also Mickey, no points for Mickey because he went true as well. They never wash.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get the next one up. Yeah, it just takes a little bit more time because I've got to open it up with a different thing.
How annoying, eh?
Right. Because I don't want to see those things at the bottom.
You don't want to give
ready
away
to share?
Your answers.
After meeting aliens, priest says, I no longer believe in God. After meeting aliens, priest states, sorry, I no longer believe in God.
Right.
Real or fake?
I haven't got a drum roll. I have all I've got is a dum. One of them. Yeah. After meeting aliens, priest states, I no longer believe in God.
What's my psyche, Monty?
My psyche is you made it up because you don't know how to spell priest.
But that could just be me copying the title over and doing it wrong like I did with sources.
Oh, right.
Don't hold on to the grammar.
Okay, right.
Hold on to the concept of the title.
Well,
Smiler says hit that effect 3 times in a row and it's a syncopated drum.
oh, let's try that. Oh. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Maz has gone true and Stealth Andy's gone true. Sean's gone fake. Smiler's gone true.
Well, we went true, fake, so I think you'd go back to true. And even though you couldn't spell priest, even though you were copying it out, it just seems like the kind of thing that would be in the National Enquirer or something.
Well, what I've tried to do is avoid any publications that are kind of like, you know, your National Enquirer.
So you've avoided those, have you? Yeah. Well,
anyway,
I still think it's true.
Okay, so we've got Monty down for a true. So
we've got everybody get there.
Yeah, I think we've got everybody in. Yeah. So have we got everybody in?
Where's Mickey? Mickey hasn't.
We haven't had any... Yeah, where's Mickey's answer? What happened to Kevin?
Kevin, get your answer in. If you're still there, maybe he's gone. Maz has gone with a true.
I need to give me 2 seconds, and I'll just line up the picture. Oh no, not that one.
This is a good sign for all us that said true.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Uh, no, to be honest with you, that was a psych out as well because I was
It
just
was
lining up the
not.
next.
No way.
I was just lining up the next picture, ready for the next real or fake. No, that was fake. That was from the mind of G Star Gazette again. So the only person that got points on that one and got off the starting gates was Sean with fake.
Well done,
50
Sean.
his own points.
Well done. That's wow. Wow.
Yeah, that was fake. Sorry, guys. Right. Next one. It's ready to share, Monty.
I should have taken the whole misspelling of priest as a sign.
But I thought you said you could get into my psyche. Flying saucer saw in death of horse. Flying saucer sought in death of horse.
Oh.
Real or fake? Mickey went false, but it came in rather late.
Ah.
But I know from my experience of being at the other end a lot that lag can be sometimes.
It can be. Yeah, it can be.
So
YouTube
I'm
lag.
going to give it to Mickey. I trust you, Mickey.
Yeah.
So you're on 100 points. So at the moment, we've got Team on 100 points, Stealth Andy on 100 points, and Mickey on 100 points. Everybody else is off the scoreboard with 50 points. So it's still anybody's because there's 3 left to go. Stealth has gone true. Smiler's gone real. Maz has gone real. Sean's gone it's real.
I'm going real.
Is anybody else going to go fake?
Smile is sticking up for Mickey that he answered before you gave the answer. So.
It's fine. I've given the points. I've given the
It's
points.
fine.
I've given the points. Chill. Take a chill pill.
True.
All right. True. Monte, you're going true as well.
Yeah. Do you want me to go fake?
God, you lot are so easy to psych out. It's almost disappointing.
Does anybody else believe him? I don't believe him.
What? You're curious because I'm what?
It's true.
I'm sharing the picture or I'm getting the next one lined up?
You're sharing the picture.
I'm sharing the picture?
Yeah. Of the news thing.
Ready to share.
Look at that.
Flying saucer saw in the death of a horse. Let me see if I don't even think if I zoom in on this, I can.
It's going to be a blob, is it? Oh no, you can read it. Oh, maybe not. No. Don't know.
Yeah, but it was definitely a headline in the paper. Flying saucer sought in death of horse. And no grammar errors on that one, thank God.
No, you confused me with your lack of grammar errors.
Well, no, you got the points.
So I
need to total up everybody's points. So Monte now is on 100. We didn't get an answer from Team on that one, did we?
No.
But we did from Stealth. So Stealth jumps into the lead on 150.
Is that it?
Sean also got... No. Wait,
okay.
Points.
Oh, sorry. All right.
I'm doing 5 things at once.
I'll have a drink of my wine.
Yeah, you talk amongst yourselves. Maz went real as well, so she goes up to 100 points.
Yeah.
And Mickey went. Mickey, where's your answer?
Mickey went yes, true.
Yes. Okay. So joint lead actually, Mickey and Stealth Andy Stealth. Or is it? No, is it
Stealth Andy Steve. Yeah.
Sorry, apologies for the mispronunciation, buddy. Right, let's get the next one up and ready. Present. Share screen. Window. It's ready to share.
Yep. You can just call him Andy.
They looked like lizards, but with mouths that spoke.
Oh.
They looked like lizards, but with mouths that spoke. Real or fake? Let us know in chat. Hold on to your lead, Mickey. Stealth and... Yeah, no, that's the two leaders at the moment. Or catch up, Maz, Smiler, Sean. Sean's like really making a comeback. He's like in reach of next two. Get the next two right, and you take the lead.
Yeah. If everybody else gets the next two wrong, and I get them right all by myself, I might stand a chance. Okay. So Andy's gone false. Smiler's gone false-a-rooney. Mickey's gone true. Sean's gone, it's a fake. I am going with fake.
Ludiday's real.
Ludicrous says real.
Oh, Ludicrous says real.
Yeah.
But what was actually Maz's answer?
I think Maz is going with ludicrous, I think. I said false. I'm going fake.
You're sticking with that, Monte?
I'm sticking with fake.
Okay.
Only because...
Let's get the answer ready a minute.
Oh, no. Only because with the lizard things, sometimes usually like they speak telepathically, so their mouths don't move. So...
Yeah, and honestly, there's so many cases out there with descriptions of lizard and like lizard type people. That should have been everybody's clue. Or it could have been my trying to fake you out. Who knows? But I haven't got a newspaper article to go along with that headline because I made it up.
Yay! I got one back.
Okay, so...
And Mickey said true, so we've got one back on Mickey. Yes.
Stealth definitely got that one right and goes back. Mickey stays where he is. Sean also went fake, so he jumps up to 150.
Smiler said fake. I said fake.
Smiler said
Mouse
fake.
said real.
Monte. And that was pretty much it, wasn't it? Yep. So we've got an outright leader coming into play now. There's one left to go, and that's Stealth, Andy, who's on 200 points. Then, all on 150 points, we have Monte, Smiler, Sean, and Mickey. So all of you guys are in league to draw. If Stealth gets this last one incorrect, and I've got it pretty much ready to go. Bang on. Here we go. Last headline ready to share, Monty. Flying saucers, Monkey Man captured. Flying saucers, Monkey Man captured. Somebody said earlier on about saucers, like if they say saucers, must show that it's old or something, which is pretty bang on.
Yeah. Tavykins is missing real or fake. Yeah, never mind. Maybe next time, Tavykins. Maybe next time. Flying saucer, Monkey Man captured. Flying saucers, Monkey Man. I'm sure that should be a thing. Flying saucers, Monkey Man.
Do you recall any cases of a Monkey Man?
Monkey Man. Andy's gone true. He went true really quickly, which is kind of worrying because he's just like true, bang in the true.
Confidence. The man has confidence.
It's confident, isn't it? That is confidence. Smiler's gone true and Maz has gone true. I'm going to say false. I know it's true.
And Sean's gone fake as well.
But just on the off chance that that Andy is wrong, you see, if I say true, then Andy still wins. But if in by any chance he is wrong and it is false, then I'll draw with him for the win. So I'm either going to lose, which I would do anyway, or I'm going to win. So that's.
I love your strategy. That's genius.
Yeah. Genius.
See, myself, I would just want the credibility of
of getting it right, because I think it is
right.
true. But I'm saying false. He's still looking for another picture, even though that was the last question. So that's not a good sign.
No, I'm not looking for a picture. I'm just trying to record all the.
He's looking for a picture. You can tell it's reflected in his glasses.
If you wanted to bring up a picture, there is one ready to share. Yeah, flying saucers. Monkey Man captured. It was featured in the Miami Daily News. And if I think on this one, I can zoom in to read a bit. No, I can't read the article.
Wow.
It wasn't. It was an interesting story. This one. But it took place, I think it was like in the 70s. But yes, it was true. So that means that our winner with 250 points was Stealth Andy. And there was quite a lot of guys that were in sort of joint second place, because I think Mickey went true on that one as well, did he?
Did get an answer. Yeah.
It's just you and Sean that didn't score. So Mazza finished on 150.
Well done. Well done,
Smiler
Andy.
finished on 200. Yeah, well done, Andy. Well done, everybody. That was 2023's first real or fake UFO headlines.
UFO headlines. Thank you, G, for putting that together.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries. Well, nobody came on to speak to us.
No, nobody wanted to speak to us. No. I can't blame them, to be fair.
I can, and throughout 2023, you all got to get less camera shy and get on and join us.
Yeah.
I demand it.
So yes. Sorry, G.
Did you want to kind of sort of start thinking about closing it up now, or did you want me to go through?
Yeah. So that was our kind of review of Missing 411, the UFO conspiracies, or the UFO Connection. Sorry. Let's say this is our first Monte Zone of 2023, and we've mapped out the coming up Monte Zones and what they're going to be about. So we'll be coming back in February for our February Monte Zone podcast, and the subject's going to be G-Star.
The powers of psychic. So we're going to be looking into proper scientific cases of tests of telepathy or telekinesis, talking about some of the work that went on in the 50s through to the 70s, and just talking about some other areas of psychic as well, because we briefly brushed over the area of psychic when we had the lovely Lydia join us and do a tarot reading, but we haven't really gone into it that heavy. And also there's just so many different areas of psychic paranormal areas, both mediums and then telekinesis and telepathy and things like that. So we're going to just be delving into that a little bit more. The broadcast should be more in keeping with our towards the end of the month. We obviously had to do this one a week early because Monte and Mazam Bob are taking me on my stag do next weekend, which would have been the last Friday of the month. So looking forward to that. But so we should be back to routine for February, and please join us for that one. And it'd be great to have people come on and join us and talk about any cases or interactions or things that they've heard that connect, relate to a psychic sort of connection, or people who've gone and had a reading and just, if you've had that done and it's been interesting, like, come on and talk to us about it and let us know.
Yeah. That's if we survive the stag do next weekend. We'll be back.
Well, I really hope so, because else the wedding will be a bit flat without me there.
Without you there, yeah, that's true. That is true. Andy says he might be willing to come on next time. Yeah, that'd be good. Always willing to have people come on and talk to us. That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. Smile at the date. Let me just look. Let's just get the calendar up. Just want to confirm which is the last Friday of February and just make sure Monty's all good for it. So it'll be the 24th, Monty, the last Friday. So, and it's my birthday the Friday before. So that probably wouldn't be good Friday to do it.
Nope.
So yeah, if you're all good for the 24th, which is 24th, the last Friday,
yes.
Set that date in your diary, guys. Make sure you join us, and I hope you've enjoyed this first episode of the Monte Zone for 2023 and for season 3.
Season 3. Yeah. Feel free to join us next Wednesday for the next TNG review show, where we'll be reviewing the game. Season 5 episodes of the game. But thank you to Mickey. Thank you to Stealth Andy Steeth. Thanks to Sean. Thanks to my Wrench Smiler Rainbow. Thank you to Kevin. Thank you to Kevin. Thanks for coming along as always and supporting the channel. Thanks to Team Rourke for coming along and answering the questions. Is there anybody I missed off?
No, but Stealth Andy
Sean
has his own channel.
Tavikins.
And Smiler's already looked at it. So if you pop on and join us next time, we'll talk a little bit about your channel content, Stealth Andy, if you want, and give you a bit of a plug as well. So sounds really interesting. But yeah, no, I don't think you missed anybody. Monty, Mazza, Ludicrous.
Maz, yeah, Ludicrous, yeah.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers,
Great
all.
start.
Happy 2023. Bye.